Today is our full movie review for Young Washington. Let's get into it.
It is time again for movie musings.
So I'll begin with the official movie summary. Young Washington follows George Washington from his youth as an ambitious Virginia surveyor to his emergence as a respectable leader during the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763. Rather than focusing on the American Revolution, however, the film explores the experiences that shaped his character decades before he became commander of the Continental Army and the first U.S. president. So I'll now give you my rating for the movie. It's made up from 5 different categories: entertainment value, story, acting, special effects, and action sequences. I'll begin with entertainment value. The movie was very entertaining, very knowledgeable. Gained some knowledge from it. Now, as with most of these types of movies that aren't true documentaries, they did have to take some liberties with the drama and the interacting with certain characters that we just don't have the history of. But overall, with the main historical points, from what I've found, it seems like they do stick pretty close to the actual historical facts. But I gave the entertainment value 8 out of 10 because I was entertained throughout the movie. It was very engaging, brought you in. The costumes, everything was well done and looked period, and the story kind of falls in with that. I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well, just because I was interested. There were some things in there I didn't know before, so that was nice to learn some stuff that was new, sadly, that I didn't know. The acting, give an 8 out of 10. Overall, the acting was good. I wouldn't say anybody really stood out, but all the acting was solid and kept me in the movie with every character. There was no character that it just made me roll my eyes and say, why didn't they get somebody better? It was very, very well done. Special effects, which is pretty much the battles, I gave an 8 out of 10. All the battles were choreographed well. A friend of mine used to be a reenactor, so I've been to a few of the bigger ones, and it reminded me a lot of that. I'm sure they embellished some of the explosions and stuff, but you have to do that sometimes when you're making a movie. The action sequences, again, all the battles were well done, very realistic looking, and you kind of got a sense of the dread, especially when they were forming lines like the British did back then, and you're just lining up to get taken out. It was very enlightening. So overall rating, that comes to an 8 by 10, and so that's my overall rating for the movie. Okay, if you're still here, that means you're okay with spoilers. Here's your 3-second spoiler warning. So if you care about that stuff, get the heck out. Okay, so in the beginning, you see that George has to deal with the death of his father. He's determined to rise above his modest social standing, as in under British rule. You, as seen in a lot of movies and shows, there's the classes, and once you're in a class, it is almost impossible to get out. But George is taught by his uncle to learn. He teaches them, skills for math and fighting and strategy. So he becomes a surveyor, and his talent as a surveyor earns him influential connections, including Lord Fairfax. But while his affection for Sally Carey highlights the class barriers of colonial Virginia, which we will talk about. So I'm gonna hit some high parts of the movie that I jotted down. Some of them may be a little out of chronological order, but I'm just gonna go with it anyway. One of the big points of the movie was he becomes a surveyor to map out Lord Fairfax's land that he has, but has not been surveyed or mapped or charted. So he says that he can do it, and him and a guide go out to do it, and they end up running into some Indians, and then they take him to show him that the French have built a fort there, and which they're not supposed to be doing, according to the British. And so he gets back after a harrowing adventure and almost dying just from the elements. He gets back to inform them of that, and he says he gets from the governor of Virginia. He gets an assignment to carry Britain's ultimatum to the French. And it launches his military career, but introduces him to the dangers of the Ohio Valley. He is not welcomed openly by the French, which why would you be if you're the French? And the meeting does not go well. The French leader gives him papers to take back, basically telling Britain to shove it. They're not going to leave, and what are you going to do about it? So he gets back, and he convinces him to let him lead the next. Well, I mean, the mayor, the governor tells him he's the one to go back and try to confront them and give them their rebuttal, saying basically, if you don't, we're going to go to war, or something bad's going to happen to you. So the next thing we see, I'm pretty sure, is their wilderness expedition, where they are traveling through the forests and rivers and the native territory. It demonstrates Washington's endurance and determination to get the job done no matter the cost. The Jumonville Glen skirmish is the actual first skirmish. It's Washington's first combat command, and it results in a confrontation that will help ignite the French and Indian War. So the next thing I'm just thinking is the surrender at Fort Necessity. So the French say they aren't leaving, the British and Washington decides to build a fort, and eventually he names it Fort Necessity because it is out of necessity. However, he fails to understand how the French are fighting. They are not standing in a line. They are not following the rules of combat. So he does learn that, and he learns it the hard way. He experiences failure. He signs a surrender agreement, and it's one of the defining setbacks of his entire career. It's really what sparked him to learn and to become, the man we all know. His relationship with Sally Carey, it's a romance, and it really demonstrated the difference between the social classes. She really liked him, he really liked her, but class and military duty prevented Washington from pursuing the life he once imagined with her. And that's kind of an aside, but we'll get back to Fort Necessity. General Braddock arrives, and Washington joins Braddock's expedition. They immediately clash with the British commander's overconfidence, I should say. And this all stemmed from the need for Fort Necessity, all stemmed from when he was sent back. He got a message that the French in charge, they were at a camp far away from the fort, probably trying to establish, and it says this, another fort there. And he tries to go in. He wants to go in and talk. Somebody fires a shot, igniting the whole fight, and a lot of the commander of the French forces gets killed. And when he has to sign that treaty, he is forced to recognize that he was the one who assassinated him, even though he didn't. He doesn't know who did it, but it's his responsibility to take it, so he does. So the Battle of Monongahela It's the film's largest battle sequence, and it depicts the devastating ambush that destroys Braddock's army. Washington repeatedly rides through enemy fire. One of the movie's signature moments shows him carrying orders, rallying soldiers, and organizing a retreat despite bullets tearing through his clothes, echoing historical accounts that several horses were shot beneath him while he survived unharmed. Braddock's death, Washington helps lead the surveying forces. After the mortality wounded general falls, marking his transformation into a trusted leader. I'm not sure if it went down that way, but the way it came out was that General Braddock entrusted him with leading the troops out and getting as many of them safe as he could. The film closes with Washington gaining the confidence of Virginia's leaders, foreshadowing his future role in American Revolution, emphasizing that these early hardships forged the leader history would later remember. Like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. I recommend seeing it. I wouldn't say it's a necessity to see in the theater, but the battles are pretty cool. The landscapes are beautiful, and I did enjoy watching it in a theater. But if you don't get to see it there, make sure you watch it at home. It's worth a watch. It's a great watch. So I want to thank you for joining us for the non-spoiler review for Young Washington. And if you could subscribe to us on YouTube and ring that bell. Also on Facebook, like and share us, and to get notified of future episodes. As usual, give me your thoughts in the comments about what you thought about the movie and my review. And if you have any ideas for shows or topics that you'd like me to cover, let me know those in the comments as well. See you next time.